Welcome to the Money Manifestation Mastery Podcast with your host, Lara Waldman, where we talk all things money. Big money, big purpose, big power. Waking up your wealth for heart-centered business owners and entrepreneurs. In today's episode, I'm going to share a powerful process, how to receive what others reject. This is an incredible manifestation hack. It's very powerful, it's stupidly simple, and it will transform everything for you. If you want to learn how to transform your blocks to receiving what you want, you don't want to miss this. Let's dive in. My area of expertise is helping you to transform blocks to receiving what you want. This is an incredibly interesting area because it's in a blind spot. It's invisible to most people. We can't see where our blocks to receiving are playing out. You will know you have a receiving block when you have not manifested what you want in your life, in your business, in your finances. Blocks to receiving manifest as symptoms of lack, of not enough, of scarcity. The inner game of rewiring to receive what you want is incredibly powerful, incredibly profound. And there's quite a simple process to help you do this, to help you transform and alchemize any block to receiving what you want. It has taken me over 2 decades of trial and error for myself personally and professionally to deeply understand this process and to help fast track this process for you. Help you to understand how this work works so that you stay in the game and you don't quit on yourself. You don't bail on what it is that you truly desire. Rewiring to receive can be an uncomfortable process when you're in the middle of it. And I want to help you understand this process so you stay with it. You go through the tumble dryer of transformation so you can come out on the other side with the results that you truly desire. I promise you, it is all worth it. I have been working with my receiving blocks for many, many years. And for many years, I was working on my receiving blocks before I understood that I had a receiving issue. Back in the day, I was learning how to receive parts of myself that I had rejected. That manifested in eating disorders, in self-hate, places where I had rejected myself. And through healing my relationship with food and healing my relationship with my body, I understood that I had rejected parts of myself that were manifesting in a really unhealthy relationship with food and a really unhealthy relationship with my body. So I learned how to receive parts of myself many, many years ago that were buried in the shadows of shame, of pain, of trauma. And I understood that through receiving myself, I was able to heal. For many years, I was trying to create change through rejecting myself, through judging myself, through criticizing myself, through being hard on myself. And I thought that that was how I was going to create change. I used to be incredibly hard on myself, particularly around food. So I would start the day with great intentions around what I was going to eat, what I wouldn't eat. And then by the end of the day, I would have failed or fallen off the wagon. And then I would just give myself the hardest time. Now, this went on for years and it was horrible. It was kind of like a living hell inside of me. And slowly and painfully, what I understood was that judgment and rejection actually gripped me even deeper into the pattern. It didn't actually create change. I could create change temporarily, but the core patterns that were running me wouldn't shift through rejection. And then when I became a healer and I was working on people's bodies and holding space for people to heal, what I learned was that people healed and created change in a safe space where they felt fully received, free of judgment, free of criticism. That actually through being received and feeling safe, that is when healing happened. That's when transformation actually happened. So I learned this personally for myself, and I really started to understand this professionally. It's a gentle approach, but a powerful approach. So this was the starting point of my journey around understanding the practice of receiving and understanding that rejection doesn't actually create change. I now call this process radical receiving for revolutionary riches. How we create wealth in every area of our life, finances being one part of our life, through receiving, through the practice of receiving. Now, in our world, it is very normal to reject. It is very normal to judge. It is very normal to criticize. And I think that many people believe that through judgment and criticism and rejection, that's actually going to create change. And this is something I've been obsessed about for many, many, many years, is how do we actually create change? How do we create systemic change? How do we really shift and transform on a fundamental level? And I've found that judgment, rejection, criticism does not help with this process. It just creates more and more separation. So where I begin this conversation is with you, your beautiful being, your beautiful body, you as a beautiful business owner, human in the world, because change really starts with you. One person, one body, one business, one bank account at a time. And as much as I want to transform the world, what I've learned is all I can really focus on is shifting myself. That's the only thing I can really control. Yes, we can influence. Yes, we can inspire. Yes, we can educate. But at the end of the day, you're the only person that you can really, truly change and transform. So today I'm going to talk to you about receiving, right? How to receive what others reject. Now, again, I have learned all of this the hard way. I realized through a lot of pain and bashing my head against brick walls over and over again, that what I was doing in my life was unconsciously determining who I can be and what I can have and what I can do based on other people. I was unconsciously influenced by the people that I was spending time with. And this was family members, friends, communities that I was hanging out in. And when I felt that those around me were rejecting the very thing that I was either being called into or wanted, I would shut everything down. In some ways, I've spent most of my life feeling very much left of center. That who I am and how I am has struggled to fit into mainstream ways of doing things, if you will. I first started to feel this when I was on my health journey, and I had to make different choices around what I was eating, what I was drinking to heal my body, to heal my gut health. And I noticed it was really stressful socially, eating differently or drinking differently. And that brought up a lot of judgment or the sense of separation or misunderstanding. I also experienced this when I woke up spiritually. I was having very profound experiences on the spiritual level, on the energetic level, that other people didn't understand or they completely rejected. And this was also really stressful for me. I had to learn how to hold my lived experience when other people didn't understand it or didn't respect it or point blank rejected it. And then the next most stressful thing was when I was guided to start working with money and focusing actively on making more money, creating more money, and helping other people to do the same. And at that time, I was in a very spiritual community that judged money to be bad. But then I found that actually a lot of people around me, spiritual or not, had a huge amount of judgment around money. And just talking about money seemed to be wrong or bad. And there I was being guided to speak about money, teach about money, help people make more money. And I was up against so much judgment and criticism. And this was deeply, deeply stressful for me. I think this was one of the hardest transitions that I made, was how to hold space for something that other people were rejecting and judging. And I needed to get so clear. I needed to get so clear with my understanding of what I was doing and why I was doing it, that I could hold myself through that judgment, through that kickback, through that misunderstanding. And that took me a number of years to really be able to hold myself with. And that was not an easy experience at all. There are many examples that I could share here, but those three examples around health, spirituality, and money were three places where I really struggled with feeling different. I struggled with being judged. I struggled with being misunderstood. Because deep down, of course, I just wanted to fit in and I wanted to belong and I wanted to be part of what everyone else was doing. And yet my soul, my heart, my body was guiding me into something different. And I found this deeply stressful and really difficult. And it meant that I got in my own way a lot because I was in this inner battle, this inner fight between who I was, what I needed, and mainstream society or mainstream culture. And I made the choice to follow my heart, to follow my soul, to follow my body's wisdom, to listen, because I knew there was a great intelligence in that. And I knew that there was this deep calling inside of me, calling me into something that I didn't fully understand, but it was a very strong pull. And of course, the pull and the desire to belong and to be part of community and to fit in. We are hardwired for that as well. But at that time, I didn't understand how to hold myself through those changes. And through a lot of lived experience, trial and error, I've learned some things that I hope will support you so you don't have to struggle for as long as I did or get twisted up in chaos and confusion for as long as I have. And there's a very powerful and simple hack here that I want to share with you. And essentially, this is a practice of learning how to receive what other people reject. Learning how to honor your intelligence, how to listen to the consciousness of your soul, your heart, your body's wisdom, when you are surrounded by people who reject the very thing that is calling you home. And like I said, it's taken me a very long time to figure this out. And I will say that this is a practice and this is a discipline. Because we are hardwired to belong and to fit in, it goes against that natural impulse to shrink or to hide or to twist or contort yourself to fit in. And also, we are highly sensitive beings. We are communicating all of the time. There's verbal communication, but there's all sorts of ways that we communicate, that we're picking up on information. And what I realized is that even if someone wasn't saying anything with words, I could feel whether they could receive me or not. My energetic system, my nervous system, has been reacting and responding to people and to life around me all of the time. And it would tell me whether what I had to say or who I was could be received or not. So what I also realized over time was that my blocks to receiving wasn't just on a mind level. It wasn't just on an emotional level, but it was on a physiological level. My nervous system was constantly reacting and responding to life around me, and it still does. So in the past, if I was with someone who was rejecting money, or their belief system said that money is bad, it was deeply stressful for me to hold my wealth, to hold my desire for wealth, and to hold the wealth that I had. I would naturally want to shrink or hide or contract against wealth. So what I learned over time was that I was reacting, responding to the world around me. And what I needed to do was shift that and start within. And what I realized over time is that human beings are rejecting life all of the time. They're rejecting so many aspects of life. Some people will be able to receive some parts of life, but will fully reject another aspect of life. And what I've become good at as a skill, as a muscle that I've developed, is receiving. So over time, I've learned to receive every single emotion. I can sit and be with any feeling. It doesn't scare me. I can sit with it very comfortably. The deepest, darkest depth of emotions, I have learned how to receive. Now, most people don't know how to receive their emotions. They don't know how to sit with grief. They don't know how to be with their shame. They don't know how to really hold their fear. They don't know how to alchemize their anger. And yet I can sit and stand and be and swim with all of the emotions because I've learned to receive them within myself. So what I realized is people's capacity to receive you is really about their capacity to receive themselves. So I used to think that I was wrong and I was bad if I felt that someone couldn't receive me, if I felt rejected by them. And over time, what I understood was, they weren't necessarily rejecting me per se, or me specifically. They were rejecting an aspect of themselves. And I was feeling that as a rejection of me, if that makes sense. So when I'm with someone who can't receive or be with their own shame or their own pain, and I can sit and stand and be with my shame and be with my pain, it has felt to me as a personal rejection. And it's taken me a long, long time to realize, yes, they may be projecting onto me and they may be consciously rejecting me, but really deep down, the deepest depths of their being, they can't receive themselves and they can't receive a part of life. And so what I've learned is just to go deeper. And this came up with money as well. So there's money everywhere. And most people are rejecting it. And my guidance said, receive what everyone's rejecting. It's like, all right. And I used to think that was wrong and bad and shameful. I had to work through a lot of shame to get to the place where I felt okay and good about receiving money. And this has been such an interesting and powerful journey. Like, wow, people are just rejecting money everywhere. And I'm going to receive it. And I'm going to teach you how to receive it. And I'm going to help you to feel safe and okay with receiving it. That we can welcome money and welcome wealth into our life in a beautiful way that's soul aligned, heart aligned, body aligned. And that was really, really important to me, that I needed to be in integrity with myself. I needed to be in integrity with my values if I was going to work with wealth, because I understood that where there's money, there's power. And for me, it's been essential to be in integrity with money, in integrity with power. So it took me a while to figure that out as well. We are so influenced by our surroundings, by the people that we spend time with, by the environments that we're in. They impact us, they influence us. And it's completely normal to be affected or influenced by those around you. So if you're around people that are rejecting the very thing that you want, it can be quite stressful. And this is why it's really important that you have a daily practice. It is a discipline to practice receiving what you want. Manifestation, mastery, method is a discipline. It is a practice because you need to go within, connect to that source, connect to that heart, connect to that body to really tune into what is in alignment for you. Otherwise, you're going to be determining who you can be and what you can have and what you can do based on the environment around you, the people that you're spending time with, the environments that you're in. So we want to go in and do that inner work. And yes, ideally, surround yourself by people, put yourself in situations that are going to support you in receiving what you want. It's so much easier when you're surrounded by people that can receive you and receive what you want. It makes this journey so much easier. But of course, you're still going to be out there in life dealing with all sorts of different people and all sorts of different environments. And so you've got to go within. When it comes to receiving what other people reject, you're going to be coming up against other people's edge, other people's capacity to receive, other people's yes and other people's no. You will also be coming up against your own edge, your own capacity to receive, where your yes is and where your no is. And this is all about playing against the edges, your capacity to receive. And manifestation mastery is about expanding your capacity to receive and stretching that edge. So you're going to have your own inner game around receiving. And of course, those around you are also going to have their own inner game around receiving, what they can receive, what they can't receive, what they will receive, what they won't receive. And as well for yourself, what you can receive, what you can't receive, what you will receive, and what you won't receive. And so when you're playing with receiving what other people reject, all you need to focus on is your own inner edge. And be willing and open to receiving what other people can't. So you need to go deeper, further, higher. And in this practice, you also need to be willing to stand alone, to go first, to do something that other people aren't doing, to receive something that other people aren't receiving. And I have found personally that this requires you to go within. And it requires you to be well supported with people that can receive you, can hold space for who you are and what you want. Both are really important. You don't need to have everyone supporting you fully, but a handful of people that have your back and are going to support you with this process. And most importantly, that you have your own back. That you have your own back and that you stay present with yourself and you don't bail on this process. So how to receive, how to rewire to receive is a step-by-step process that we teach and facilitate inside of the Living Abundance Mastermind. But for this conversation today, I want to give you a really simple practice. When we're talking about receiving what other people reject, a very simple practice is to inhale, to breathe in what other people are rejecting. Because when people are rejecting, their systems go into shutdown, lockdown. Essentially, they're going into protection and they're creating separation. The receiving practice is to do the opposite. It's to relax, to release those barriers of separation, and to receive, to breathe in, to take it in. And this is receiving what we judge to be good and what we judge to be bad. Radical receiving for revolutionary riches. And what I know about that is when you receive all of it, through the body, through the heart, in alignment with your soul, you're actually alchemizing. You're rewiring. You're transforming. You're bringing things into alignment, that heart, body, soul alignment, not through rejection, through receiving. So it's actually a very, very simple concept, and it's a very, very simple practice. But it is a discipline because you need to train yourself into receiving. You need to rewire your whole energetic system to essentially feel safe to receive, to relax into life, to release your blocks and barriers, all that self-protection, and to breathe in and to transform your thoughts, your beliefs, the stories, the emotions, your nervous system response or reaction against the very thing that you want. We need to rewire how you think, how you feel, how your body reacts to the very thing that you want. And all of this is beyond logic. All of this is beyond logic. You can know what you want. You can get into alignment with what it is you truly desire. You can even know how to do this process. And yet actually receiving, actually rewiring to receive is a full body experience. And you need to train yourself into it. So this is a practice, this is a discipline. And this is what we hold space for inside of the Living Abundance Mastermind. This is my next level program. And I want to make sure that you're aware of this support that is here for you to help you do this. Because yes, you can do a lot of this work on your own, but I would say it's the slow path to change. I have fast-tracked this system to teach you exactly how to manifest what it is that you truly desire in alignment with your heart, body, and soul within a 3-month container, a 3-month program, as the starting foundations for everything you need to know how to do this. And we have exceptional support inside of the mastermind. We've got coaching. We've got incredible clients that are going to receive you and support you, running mates, people you can go on this journey with, and an incredible program to help you through this step by step. I want you to have everything you need to do this. Everything inside of this program is here to support you to stay on track, to give you the space that you need, the understanding that you need, and to help you win, to help you to keep going. This is the foundational start. And right now, we've got a very, very special offer. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of this offer. You can click on the link below or go to my website, larawaldman.com, check out the Living Abundance Mastermind, and make sure not to miss this special offer that's here for you. I struggled and suffered for a very long time to figure out how to move through some of this stuff. And it is my passion now to help fast track what took me 2 decades to figure out. I want you to learn it in 3 months so that you really deeply understand how this work works and that you are well supported to keep going, because I know that it is essential to have the right support to keep going, to move through change. So I'd like you to think about what it is that you really want, what it is that you long for. And that can be financially, in business, but also in your personal life. What is it that you really want? And to start to hold space for that, to start to receive that, and receive that even if you can't see any evidence of it around you, to receive the very thing that maybe everyone around you rejects, and to be brave and to go first. I know it can feel scary or lonely or hard to hold that space. Holding space for what you want to receive before it's landed is part of the mastery of this work. And opening up to receive what other people reject is also the mastery of this work. And when you can connect to what your soul wants, what your heart wants, what your body wants, this longing, this calling, it's calling you home to something new, to something deeper, to something richer, to receive from more of life and to receive more of yourself in life is the deepest depth of this work. Hold that space. Make sure you're well supported. Breathe to receive. Breathe to receive. And hold space for yourself as you rewire, as you move through these shifts and changes. It's deep and profound, and it is so beautiful, and I promise you it is so worth it on the other side. And if you would like support with how to receive, how to rewire to receive what you truly desire, to transform those blocks and barriers to receiving, to open up to a whole new world of wealth that is ready and waiting for you on the other side, come and join us inside of the Living Abundance Mastermind. You can find out the full details via the link below. Go to my website, larawaldman.com. We've got a very special offer on currently. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you for joining me for today's conversation, how to receive what others reject. I would love to know what you've received from today's conversation. What is landing for you? What questions do you have? Please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow or subscribe to this podcast to never miss an episode. And I look forward to being with you again next time. See you then.